Hello, everyone. It's Marielle. Welcome to another episode of Live with Marielle. I'm really excited to share this story with you all today. Today, I'm going to be talking a lot about profits, and how I went from having like these inconsistent profits, feast and famine type of lifestyle, to consistent five-figure weeks. So I am actually using StreamYard at the time of this broadcast. And if you're watching this on the replay, say hello. So I would love to make this as interactive as possible because I love doing my live streams with you all because I love to answer questions as well. And I love to interact with you. So if you have any questions or thoughts, ideas throughout this entire episode, feel free to comment below and include your name so I know who is commenting, which is the easiest way because otherwise you have to go through a little process with StreamYard. So if you're joining me live, say hello, tell me your name. And if you're watching this on the replay, give me a heart as well. So, again, today we are talking about how to go from inconsistent profits to five-figure weeks. One of the things that really really motivates me in my journey and helping other entrepreneurs, other coaches, and experts is to help them get consistent because it really did take me a long time to figure out. Excuse me, let me just turn that off. My son left his thing here. I'm back. Real live live here. So again, today we're talking about how to go from inconsistent profits to five-figure weeks. And like I was saying, one of the things that really motivates me the most is to help women entrepreneurs really start getting serious about their business and making consistent profits. And I remember when I first started, this was really difficult for me. And let me reframe because I'm going to tell you a story here. Um, I actually had a pretty amazing launch when I first started seriously coaching. And now I had been coaching back when I was in my 20s and when coaching was not even a thing. Okay. So I actually started, haphazardly. It was really kind of an accident that I fell into it. And I'll tell you the story here. When I graduated from college, I always knew that I wanted to work for myself. I always knew I didn't want to work for anyone else. So I took on a door to door full commission position, and it was business to business, and I was selling phone service, business phone service at the time. And so I got really good at it. And eventually I became a trainer. And so I started training other people in how to do sales. Um, and after that, I actually started my own company and training hiring, recruiting, and training salespeople for a Fortune 500 company. So I created a company of my own, and they outsourced their sales to me and some of their marketing to me, and it was amazing. But what I loved about that the most was that I got to mentor people and I just had this knack for it. So, it was something that I always loved doing. But after when I grew up, when I grew up and actually became a mother and started a family, I decided to go in another direction. First, I decided to stay home with our son. At the time, we only had one, and we had Bobby, and I decided that I was going to go and build this membership organization. I built this big membership organization with my best friend called Lady Savant. It was perfect at the time because I was a new mom. We wanted to meet other women who wanted to continue growing creatively, and so we built this large organization. and it was a membership organization, and that was a lot of fun. And but eventually, a few years down the line, or 2 or 3 years down the line, I really started getting the itch to go back and actually start coaching again. But at this time, the world had completely changed, and it was an online world, and social media was, everywhere. And I knew how to use it, use the basics, like, post a picture of Bobby, post a picture of my family, my food. But I really didn't know how to get clients at the time. So what happened to me is actually I was just talking to one of my VIP one-on-one clients, and it was our very first call yesterday. Kim, if you're watching this, and she was asking me questions about, my story, and I share my story, but I don't think I probably shared enough for a lot of you who are brand new inside of the Modern Mystic Business Breakthrough community. Um, you know, I had this big organization, and when I had my second son, when we had our second son, Nikki, I was really itching to go to getting back into coaching. So for all of you mothers out there who are, or women who are, pregnant and are still wanting to do something creatively, it is totally possible. I literally launched actually, we had a magazine at the time that completely we created with Lady Savant while I was pregnant. We had an event that day scheduled. It was what it was our Christmas event that we were doing, and I went into labor. And Brandon, my best friend, was so mad at me because she said, "How can you go into labor today?" But he wanted to say hello. So anyhow, I had these big dreams of transitioning back into coaching. But when I gave birth that same day, I get a phone call from my doctor, and my doctor said that it wasn't a good phone call. It was from my neuro surgeon, saying that I had a brain tumor, and that the results had come back. I had this brain tumor, that it was benign, but we were going to really have to watch it. So imagine that. I mean, imagine having, being in the hospital, giving birth, and 2 or 3 hours later, looking at my phone. And I never look at my phone. And I looked at my phone, picked up the call. It was the doctor. Like, it was kind of devastating. But the good news is that it was benign, and that he said these things grow very, very slowly. So let's watch it. So we watched it for about 3 years. And during that time, because I was getting the itch to getting back into coaching and really starting to get serious, through that time, I started taking a ton of new courses, a ton of new certifications, and finally, I was feeling like I'm ready. I am ready to go out and start building a coaching business. And again, I get another phone call from my doctor right as I am about to post doors are open type of post. And he says, Marielle, your tumor is growing too fast, and we need to remove it. And I said, well, how fast is it growing? He's like, well, it's fast enough to that these symptoms that you are having are going to be really uncomfortable until we remove it. And at that point, my half of my face was really numb, and I had lost all my hearing on the left side of my ear. And at that time, it was really confusing, hard time in my life. And um and I want to share this story because I want to share how there's never a perfect time to launch a business. There was what was in my heart, I knew was real. I wanted to coach, I wanted to serve, I wanted to get back into that. And I couldn't understand why I was going through all of this, why I was having this desire that was so strong in my heart, and at the same time all of these difficulties. So what happened is I negotiated with him. I negotiated with him to give me 6 months. And he said, "You're crazy, but okay, yeah, that's fine." And I needed that time to really mentally prepare and and to make some internal decisions about what was going to happen. And I know that sounds ridiculous because it's like, well, what do you mean? You're not in control here. Well, I know you're not. I'm not. I knew I wasn't in control of what was going to happen, but I knew I was in control of me and how I processed everything. And I've always been a powerful manifester. And so I just knew that all of this woo woo ideas and practices that I have practiced my whole life, that now was the time for me to really use them. So I decided that I was going to get my hearing back, and I decided that I was going to launch my business successfully, and that my operation was going to be a total success. And so for those 6 months leading up to my operation, I started getting clients. And this was the first time I was getting online coaching clients. And I remember that my very first coaching package was $120 a month. And I was blown away that someone was going to pay me this amount of money because to talk to me. I was just like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited." So I decided to get a ton of clients and get experience, and really this was going to be like my practice time and my time to actually get results for people. And so I gave myself the opportunity to do that, and I was able to help out a lot of women. So leading up to the operation, though, I decided that my real launch in a group setting was going to be 6 weeks after my operation. And 6 weeks after my operation, I was going to open the doors to this group coaching program. And so I want you to notice how I planned for success. I didn't wait to see. I have to wait to see how my operation is going to go to see when I'm going to be able to launch. I'm not saying I did it right or wrong. I want you to think about that, because I literally planned for the success of the operation and the success of a full booked out coaching launch program. So, and you can call that my beta launch. So what happened, and in another episode, I will actually share everything I did during those 6 months, which was, I think, super, super important for me to share that with you all. But for now, let's just move forward. And I'll say that what I did as soon as the operation was over, which by the way, I did get my hearing back, uh, to the surprise of my doctors, and and I have to say this because many people ask me, well, what did you do? And the truth is, it was just pure faith. Like, I have faith in God and in my relationship with God, and knowing that I had asked from the bottom of my heart with positive expectation and gratitude. So that's just to kind of sum it up. But that's what saved my hearing or brought my hearing back, truly. But let's fast forward to 6 weeks post op. I was on such a high. You know, I had just, I felt like I had literally just faced death. You know, I had literally looked it in the eyes, because I mean, this is a really invasive operation here that I just had. So I was on such a high that I had gotten my hearing back, that everything was just kind of falling into place, that I went out and said, okay, well, now it's time to fill my beta launch, my program. And I literally booked out my entire month. I think I sold over $40,000 worth of coaching. We had, I don't remember exactly how many people we had at the time. But it was a high ticket program. It was a high ticket program. I might have had like 10 or 12 people or something like that. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was a $40,000 launch. And that was my very first launch. So what I am saying is that my story really did start with a feast. I was like, oh my gosh, I made more in 1 month than I had made in the entire previous year with my organization. Because it was two of us, and anyways, that's another story that I will go into and happily share another day. But in any case, I was just like on cloud nine, and it was so exciting to see that all of these visions and dreams are finally coming true. Except that when I started sharing my success with other people, they started they started kind of bringing me down to earth, right? Like, really? You just made that much? Like, wow. Like, what are you doing? What are you selling? Like, how is that even possible? And at that point, that's when I started questioning myself. I started saying, "Oh, did I do something wrong? Like, why is this?" So I started really feeling bad about my success and feeling like, well, do I deserve making that much money? Do I deserve, am I doing something wrong? Like, am I not worth that? Right? Like, am I scamming people here? Like, why am I getting, all of this feedback from my friends and family? And at that point I started to really lose that high vibe, lose that high energy, that innocence and abundance mindset that I launched with went down the drain. And I became, yes, exactly. I started gaining imposter syndrome. And so I want to share that with you all, because if you are ever, be careful about what you say to your friends and family, to your children, like, because we're always instilling spells. We are spells. Our words can be spells, right? So after that, I started making things really hard for myself. And I didn't get consistent again for a good 4 or 5 months later. So, you would think that, well, Marielle, you know how to launch. So, like, I launched this beta program and made $40,000 in a month. So, if I already proved to myself that I could do it once, why couldn't I do it again? Because the first time I was so high, um, I was so excited, and I didn't know any better. The second time I was like, this must be wrong. This must be hard. And I made it really hard for myself. And so I started going through what so many of you may through yourselves, which is that cycle of feast and famine. Sometimes I was able to get 2 or 3 clients in a month, and then nothing for the next 2 or 3 months. And when I got those 2 or 3 clients, those feast opportunities, those abundance months, there was always a little feeling in the back of my mind and my heart, like, okay, when am I gonna land? And I now call it the upper limit. If you've ever not if you haven't read, what is it called, The Big Leap, definitely read that. So I had a lot of upper limits. I would go up just to know that I was about to crash. And to be quite honest with you, it was really, really stressful to live that way, especially when you're in a two income household at this point. To have those feast and famine moments and profits, and sharing that with your partner or with your family, it just becomes really stressful. It puts a lot of stress on your relationships, puts a lot of stress on yourself. And then ultimately, this is the reason why people quit, because they just don't know how to get out of that cycle. Hello. Yes. So, yep, I am in the right place. Resonates with me. Good, 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 good. Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts, about what I'm talking about right now. So, how do we break that feast or famine mentality? Well, the very first thing that I did for myself was, I became obsessed with my new obsession at that time was this whole idea of money mindset. Like, there's something wrong with my mindset. I am aware enough to know that if I could do one thing, if I could have success once, I could have success over and over. So why am I telling myself all of these negative things? So I knew there was something wrong with my mindset, and at the time I didn't know what it was, but I had been, seeing it pop up all over, the internet and social media, money mindset. And so I decided to get certified in it because anytime I get obsessed with something, I get certified in it. So anyway, that's another problem, but that's just who I am. Actually, it's not a problem. So I started really understanding what it was that I was doing to myself. And one realization that I had was that I had a fear of numbers. Now, I was talking about this yesterday or 2 days ago in our goddess circle inside of our mastermind. Us women, we are so many times it is ingrained in the fabric of our families and society to make us feel like we're not good with numbers. Like girls aren't good with numbers. Girls are good with art, they're good with history, but numbers aren't our things. And you grow up, and including myself, I'm super creative, I'm a big thinker, I'm a visionary. Numbers really, that was true for me. Like numbers was just not that attractive to me. I remember having nightmares about my statistics and accounting classes in college. So I realized that I had this fear of numbers. And as an entrepreneur, you have to goddess up. Okay. You have to goddess up, boss babe. And the way that you do that is by not ignoring numbers, because numbers are your friends. And specifically we talk about this a lot inside of the mastermind. We talk about three numbers that you really have to focus on. And when you learn how to have a better relationship with numbers, you actually liberate yourself and you create consistency, because your decisions come from facts, and you start running your business instead of running it intuitively off the whim, which a lot of us are, haphazardly do, including myself in the past. You start really running your business like a business instead of a charity, instead of a hobby, instead of, oh, I just need to make extra money. When you start, uh, when you really start having that better relationship with numbers and start paying attention to them, what happens is that your energy, your focus starts amplifying whatever it is that you're working on, right? It's like the law of attraction. Whatever you focus on expands. And that is really something that you should use in your business. So I started focusing on how many discovery calls am I having, how many sales am I getting from those discovery calls, and what is my closing ratio here. And so looking at those numbers forced me to make some radically new decisions and make them consciously. And as soon as I started that brand new relationship with numbers and making decisions differently, um, things started to shift again. And so I wanted to share that with you, because ask yourself, what is my relationship with numbers? What are the stories I am telling myself about me and numbers? Are those stories true? The truth is for me that, yeah, I really had never liked numbers that much, but also because, not only because I'm totally, I'm very right brain, but also because I was told in my world, in the society that I lived in my family, that girls are better with other things and numbers are left to the dads and the men. And so I decided that that was not going to be my reality. And so the next thing that I want to share with you is get real about your number. Okay, so I see a lot of coaches goal setting workshops focusing on like, yeah, what do you want? Envision what you want, the beach house, the this, the that. And they create goals that are really outrageous. And what happens is that they really never actually solidify those goals because they're too big. So I have this philosophy that I can manifest anything that's in my heart. Okay. That's like literally that energy of desire in my heart area. If it's there, it's a done deal. Okay. And that's where I say, whenever you have a need, there is more it is more likely that you have the desire to fulfill that need. Okay, so use we all have needs, right? So use that into your advantage. And think of it this way, it's like a coin. On one side is need, on the other side is desire. Okay, if you can recognize that need that you have, all you have to do is flip the coin, and on the other side is the energy of desire, which can go out and magnetize what you need towards you. Let me know if that piece is making sense, because that might be a little too woo woo, but probably not for you all. Okay, so know your number. How much do you need to make? Okay, to make it work. Break it down, chunk it down, and bring it down into like, well, I need to make $1,000 a month. I mean, a week, or 2,000 or 3,000, whatever it is, whatever is true, recognize it, and work backwards, right? So let's just say that you need to make $10,000 a month. I mean, $10,000 a week. All right. Well, $10,000, you could either have two high ticket packages. How am I going to get those high ticket packages? Those high ticket clients? Well, in order to have two people say yes to me, then I need to have at least 5 discovery calls. Well, how am I going to get those discovery calls? Or how many discovery calls do I need in order to get two yeses? Like, that's why it's important to know what is your closing ratio, right? Um, and then ask yourself, well, okay, so what do I need to say? How do I need to show up to get these 7 or 8 calls that I need per week? I'm just throwing numbers out here for you, but that's how you do it. You work backwards, and you get so clear about the steps that you need to take. Okay. And this is where so many women, so many coaches, so many entrepreneurs go wrong. They'll go and spend all their time changing their offer when their offer was great to begin with. It was just never in front of enough people. So let me know if this is all making sense, because, or if you have any questions about this whatsoever. I've never been good with numbers. Yeah, we all say that. We say that a lot. So, with that said, another thing that you can look at to create more consistency is, what is your pricing like? I I tend to believe that most of us, most women, are radically under pricing your packages, or working by the hour. So how much are you charging, and is it a fair price? Now, if you're one of my clients and students, I don't believe in like these crazy inflated uh pricing models that are in the coaching world, that quite honestly give the coaching world a really bad name. I don't believe in them. I believe there is a fair price. But my bigger belief is that your pricing is totally connected to your confidence. Okay. How confident are you in the results that you can give someone? Okay. And sometimes, like I say, confidence, we weren't born with confidence, but confidence comes from experience. So ask yourself, what do I need to do in order to gain the confidence to charge this price? And you're going to and write it down. Like, write down all the things that come to your mind. For me, when I first started, so going back to that very first launch that I had, that $40,000 launch, um I knew I could do that because I had spent the last few months uh, working with a ton of clients, and I gave them, huge discounts, obviously. But now I knew that I could do it. I could perform, I could teach, I had experience under my belt. So I felt the level of confidence, more confidence and I think at the time, I was charging like $3,000 for that coaching program, which was 3 months. Um, was it 90 days? Yeah, it was 90 days. So the other thing that I knew for myself at that time is like, okay, well, I mean, I haven't been in a business coach forever. So what else do I have to believe in order to know that this is worth their, this is worth it and their investment? And the other answer that came to me was, well, I know I will be there for them. I know that they are going to be in a boutique environment where I will be accessible. And that's huge. And this may be resonating with a lot of you right now because if you're brand new, it's very easy to feel imposter syndrome and to not feel confident. But if you really understand that launching with a high ticket that you are totally worthy of launching with a high ticket course because you are willing to take the time with people, that is like sitting at the front of the airplane. That is first class. Your time and attention and hand holding with someone is the most valuable thing that you have right now. Okay, so that's something that can really give you the confidence. Let's see. Deja says, I feel that I would increase incrementally after working with more and more clients. And that's exactly what you do. So your pricing will change as you work with more clients. And then eventually it caps out. The market will tell you where you're at. And you'll know when you no longer should be charging something, and you'll get a full body. No, I'm not charging that anymore, and you'll find a new number, and you'll get a total body yes. So she says, wow, I never thought about it that way. Yeah. So with that said, I hope that this really helped you all because it was not fun living in the feast or famine coaching world, which so many entrepreneurs and coaches live in, and you can change that. And then furthermore, what I did moving forward, I mean, I've been doing this for quite a while, is that eventually I started setting up my systems, and I wish I would have set up systems so much sooner than I did. But I always tell my clients this: you have to have the question, you have to have the need, the desire before the universe and God sends you the answer. And there came a point where I was just like, no, I don't want to do all that hustling. What else can I do? And that's exactly what started was a catalyst to me starting to set up my systems, to knowing how to show up live, what to say on these live streams, how to do it in a way that I was like, I had a plan. It wasn't just me speaking from inspiration, which I love. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. Speaking from inspiration is really important. And we are energy. So when you speak from the heart, it's going to land, it's going to reach the heart. But it was literally when I was ready to have true consistency that I came up with all the systems that I use now. And now, I mean, I post. I am not someone who loves to be on social media all day long. I commit to my weekly live stream. I have systems that bring in leads. When I show up on Instagram, it's because I want to share with you authentically a picture or something, not because I need clients. I don't operate well that way. And so all of my systems that I teach and help my clients with are to liberate them from having to do that. But with that said, the whole my live streams have brought in hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars by just being willing to be seen, to be heard, and to share, and to truly share from the heart. So Let's see. We said exactly where I am at. Can't wait to get started. Yeah. So I can't wait to help any of you who have any questions or anything like that. So with that said, we are actually opening the doors very soon to the live stream and video consistent conversion academy. I know that's a mouthful, but it's exactly what you're going to learn to do in the live stream academy. You're going to learn to be consistent, and I'm going to teach you the formula that you can use to start converting clients. So we're going to be launching that really soon, opening the doors. If you'd like to get on the wait list, I will notify you first. And every time I send out a notification to a wait list, we always have a special bonus that's only available to you all. So I will go ahead and post that here. If you want to go to that right now, it is you can find it at convertwithlivestreams.com/ waitlist. And again, you will be the first to get notified as soon as we open the doors to that. Which I'm really, really excited because this is the first time I'm going to do this live. So I'm actually going to be there to answer any questions. It's going to be an 8-week program. It's going to be amazing. So with that said, thank you so much for joining me. Believe in yourself. Do not quit. Feast or famine, that's just part of the beginning, but you do not have to live in that way. And I am proof of that. And so many of my clients are proof of that as well. So have an amazing rest of the day. I love you guys.